And hello, everybody. Welcome to KRFF 95.9 LPFM, RadioFreeFargo.org. We're streaming anywhere and everywhere in this blue and green marble you at. We can get into your ear hole, and we love to do it. Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm Wilson. It's 4 o'clock. The last Canna-Talk ND before 2024, indeed. And that'll be fun. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see what 2024 has got to do with cannabis legalization, cannabis news, cannabis in general. And we'll do a little speculating, I suppose, at 4:20 when we open a big fat bag of cannabis news. Stick around for that. Before me is Country with Trav in the morning. After me, Stinky Arts Music Mart mixtape, and then Artemis Blood Shrine wraps up your Thursday. Don't forget Friday and the other days to listen to the best independent radio station in the world as far as I'm concerned. Again, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. That's what's happening now. We're going to talk about the benefits of cannabis, cannabis news, just general news. And in the past year or so, I've kind of deviated into wacky drug stories. So if there's a crazy cracked out mule racing in Czechoslovakia, they found residue on his jersey, I'll probably cover it. Why not? I mean, you just can't pigeonhole me, buddy. Anyway, I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit, and I show him props every Sunday, 417 Main Avenue, Antioch Church. Come on through. I'm on stick duty. It's a New Year's Eve service. So come put your props in the air for the man upstairs. Antioch Church. We do a discovery. We do a recovery class at 10 a.m. as well. If you've got a monkey on your back or you've kicked said monkey off your back, but you can feel that little banana eater pulling on your pant leg, again, we believe higher power is the only power that's going to clean you up, friend. Again, cannabis, 420. We'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news. I utilize cannabis. I think everybody should. This show is brought to you by Black Cottage Alchemy. Black Cottage Alchemy on Facebook. Black Cottage Alchemy. 1,200 mgs of CBD, locally grown hemp, whipped up into a big old batch of buttery, slidey stuff on your body for your health. Thank you, Black Cottage Alchemy, for sponsoring this show. Let's talk about the end of the year, though. Why don't you give us a little cash? Or consider making Radio Free Fargo 95.9, KRFF, a part of your year in giving. Radio Free Fargo receives no government funding, though we are a nonprofit, community, all-volunteer radio station. Nor are we receiving any grant money. As a nonprofit, we are not allowed to do traditional advertising like commercial radio stations do. You can make a donation at our website, www.radiofreefargo.org. Simply choose the donation button. Please help Radio Free Fargo continue with its mission to serve the Fargo-Moorhead area. Thank you. I feel like saying thank you is reminiscent of the old classic TV station providing programming like this. Thank you. Again, Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm Wilson. We're going to talk about some cannabis stuff, end of the year stuff. There's a speculation as to what will happen in 2024. South Dakota is currently grabbing cigs. And by cigs, I mean signatures, not cigarettes. Come on, you. Okay, so, again, this is the last show before a new year begins. And I don't know, 2023, I feel like the 20s have been pretty cray-cray, if you ask me. It seems like it keeps just kind of like doubling up on its craziness. So I don't know, 2024, who knows? We're screaming into 2024 with like a fireball of white phosphorus. But anyway, 420, we'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news. We're going to play a little song here. I've been really liking this album. This is that front singer of the Carolina Chocolate Drops. There's Too Little, Too Late, Too Bad. 95.9. Indeed, Too Little, Too Late, Too Bad. Rhiannon Giddens, brand new here on KRFF 95.9. That's good stuff. RadioFreeFargo.org. Streaming everywhere. Come take a listen. Get a little taste, huh? Why not? Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. That's the hour we're in now. 4:20, we'll open a big fat bag of cannabis news, so stick around for that. Programming on KRFF LPM FM, Radio Free Fargo, 95.9 FM is being underwritten by Flatland Guitar in Lutheran. Flatland Guitar is your full-service guitar shop and your exclusive dealer for Yamaha, Taylor, and Paul Reed Smith guitars and other brands. They sell guitars on consignment. They take trade-ins and have a full-service on-site repair center, which means they'll fix your guitar. Check out Flatland Guitar in Lutheran on Facebook or visit them in person at their location at 1450 25th Street South in Fargo. Flatland Guitars. Well, here we are. What should we? We got to talk about something. Huh? Why don't we talk about South Dakota here for a little bit? Let's see here. South Dakota for better cannabis laws is petitioning. They're back at it again. So they are back at it. And so sdbml.org/signing locations. If you need to find out where to sign, there's like 46 signing locations in the state. They need volunteers too. So again, check out the South Dakotans for Better Marijuana Laws to find out more about that. So I don't know what we're going to talk about here. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. What are we going to talk about before? Let's talk about this. This is from High Times, and this is crazy. This is crazy. California, am I right? California approves rules for making drinking water from sewage. So, if anyone remembers that old video of Bill Gates drinking purified gray water with an enormous grin on his face, you probably thought to yourself, icky, I'll never drink that crap. Well, if you live in California, you may soon find yourself without a choice. Legislators have approved regulations for water companies to begin purifying sewage water for people to drink. Now, I mean, the key word here is purified. You purify that sewage water, it ain't sewage water no more. Can I get an amen? It's been purified. It's not sewage water anymore. It's purified. In a state with over 39 million residents, regularly stricken by years-long droughts, man, that needs to be edited. Water companies will soon be permitted but not required to recycle toilet water, extensively treat it, and send it right back to kitchen sinks. California is the second state after Colorado to approve such measures. Water is so precious in Cali, it is important that we use it more than once. Okay. After 13 years of steady advocacy, a portion of the it's a major milestone. According to an article, California has actually been using recycled wastewater for quite a while. Just about everyone besides kitchen faucets. Wastewater is used to make rinks, water crops, and if you've gone skiing in the mountains, your skis were likely gliding over, you guessed it, recycled sewage. What? So much for don't eat the yellow snow. I didn't make that up. I read it. The new regs dictate that the water companies will be required to treat the wastewater for pathogens and viruses. Well, that's nice of them, right? Appreciate that. The wastewater process also strips the water of its minerals, which have to be added back in the end, unlike regularly treated drinking water. It's the same drinking water quality and probably better, which, I mean, I guarantee you they're going to say that to get you to drink your own pee. The regulations took over 10 years to develop and underwent thorough, extensive scrutiny by several teams of scientists, of which we'll never know or never meet. And, it's just words I've read. I mean, that scientists could be AI guys. It turns out this new development in water purification is actually somewhat arbitrary when modern water treatment practices are considered. Anyone out there taking drinking water downstream from a wastewater treatment plant discharge, which I promise you you're all doing, is already drinking toilet to tap, which sounds like a kind of a polka ditty. All water is recycled. What we have here are standards, science, and importantly, monitoring that allows us to have faith that it is pure water. These somewhat ick realities of current water treatment practices notwithstanding, public perception of wastewater will almost certainly be a tall mountain to climb. We live in California where drought happens all the time, and with climate change, it will only get worse. So it's a drought-resistant supply. I mean, again, and here's something you don't know. Nearly half of San Diego's drinking water is slated to come from treated wastewater by 2035. So, if you live in California, you're going to be drinking wastewater. And so I don't know what you think about that, but I think if it's purified, it's glorified. So we got a little tune here. This is from Foggy Mountain Spaceship. It's a little cover, little Sting cover, Walking on the Moon. Next up, and there you have it, Walking on the Moon, Foggy Mountain Spaceship on RadioFreeFargo.org, KRFF 95.9. It's Canna-Talk ND with Wilson, and we got to that 420. So we're going to open a big fat bag of cannabis news. Join me on the other side of this, will you?
Hey, it's Phil from Canna-Heads. Like this episode? Hit that like button. And if you enjoy the show, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on cannabis news, local and national. Listen live on 95.9 in the Fargo, North Dakota region from 4 to 5 p.m. on Thursday. For our non-Fargo region friends, you can listen on your favorite podcast platform. Just search Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Now enjoy the show.
Oh, okay. Hello. Howdy, everybody. How you doing? How's it going? We ready? We gonna do it? Let's do it. Hey, this is the last Canna-Talk ND with Wilson before a brand new year. 2024. That's wild. I was talking to a dude the other day when we were teenagers. We thought 2024 would be pretty Jetsons type stuff. We'd be buzzing around and, we were in Mars already, nanotechnology. None of us were even real, just synthetic humans out here doing synthetic things, but it's different, but the grass is still real. Trees are still real, and we're still subject to weather. And we've had some crazy weather here in Fargo, folks. Like I said, it was almost 50 degrees on Christmas Eve. Or maybe the day before, I forget. But it rained for like 635 hours. It's rained so much, I don't even know. Just imagine how much snow we'd have got if it would have been just a few degrees colder. But we don't talk about snow on this show unless it's about cocaine, in a negative way, of course. I don't promote that stuff. I've done that stuff, and that stuff will take you right down. But I do have a story about it, which is crazy. This is from High Times. Swiss capital mulls possibility of legal cocaine sales. What? Just under 2 months after announcing a pilot program for legal cannabis, legislators in the Swiss capital of Bern are discussing an entirely novel idea. Legalize crack. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Local government officials are discussing the possibility of launching a program to study the effects of local cocaine sales on the general public. I can tell you, you want to turn Switzerland into Kensington Avenue, then why don't you just go ahead and let everybody do the coke? It's the stupidest idea I've ever heard. But according to Reuters, legislators in the Bern Parliament have proposed the idea as a potential solution to increase coke usage in a country already infamous for some of the highest levels of cocaine use in Europe. And you read that, and then you go, what did I read? They proposed the idea as a potential solution to more people doing it by allowing everybody to do it. Seems to be what they think will lower the levels of coke use in Europe. Do I have to be from Fargo to be the smart one? You want to increase cocaine usage because you want to solve the increased cocaine usage? What? Just riddle me this. If you illegalize it and severely illegalize it, like stinking Singapore, does that not work? It kind of works. When you're long drop hung for a couple grams of heroin, if all of a sudden Singapore said, do what you want, bruh, do what you want, it's all good, dude. Would that be a potential solution? I know. Letting it freely run Now, I get some of the arguments, certainly about Portland and Oregon. They're thinking about recriminalizing. And some people argue that it's, even though it looks bad, we should keep it decriminalized. But whoa, I don't think that worked. Again, I don't use hard drugs, or any drugs really for that matter, but it just seems like. So anyway, and on top of that, the discussion began just weeks after a select few Swiss cities launched a similar program to analyze cannabis. The war on drug has failed, and we have to look at new ideas. I get it, but letting it. So control and legalization can do better than mere repression. I don't know. Legislators in support of the idea propose that due to falling prices of coke and rising levels of use, the most common sense solution would be to regulate and control the flow, distribution, and purity of the supply. But here's the thing. And here's what Frank says. We have a lot of coke in Switzerland at the cheapest prices and the highest quality we've ever seen. Now, why do you need that regulated? But controlling what? The flow? You already can get it as fast as you possibly can, for as low as you possibly can, with the highest purity. But they want you to believe that legalizing it would regulate, distribute, and control purity. However, at this very moment, you can get a dose of cocaine for about 10 francs, whatever that is. Not much more than a price for a beer. So you're going to tell me the common sense solution is going to be to regulate and control that better? As a drug user, that sounds perfect. Why do I need it? Why do I need that regulated? I just can't make any sense of it, to be honest with you. But they are still far away from potential legalization, but we should look at new approaches. The measure would also require a legislative change at the national level so that there are still many hurdles to overcome before you can walk into a Coke store without fear of legal repercussion. I think that's crazy. I say that's crazy. So what do we got here? Let's see. This is from High Times. This is a crazy story. A medical cannabis card for a fetus is the title. Okay. This week, attorneys for an Oklahoma woman filed an application asking the Supreme Court to stop state prosecutors from criminally charging women who use cannabis medically during pregnancy. The filing centers around the case of Brittany Gonzalez, who used edibles and topicals during her pregnancy at the recommendation of her doctor. Let me say that. It was recommended by her doctor. She legally obtained a medical card to do so, based on per the recommendation of her doctor. In October 2020, she gave birth to a big old fat healthy baby who tested positive for THC. The Oklahoma DOH investigated, found no evidence of neglect, reported that Gonzalez's home was a clean and safe environment. Still, the district attorney of Comanche County, Kyle Kablika, charged her with a felony child neglect in May 2021. At a court hearing in August of this year, a prosecutor argued Gonzalez broke the law because her unborn child did not... Okay, you guys ready for this? Because this is insane. Prosecutor argued that Gonzalez broke the law because her unborn child did not have its own separate state license to use medical cannabis. Yeah, you heard me right. Prosecutors say that Gonzalez is liable for felony child neglect because her fetus did not have a medical cannabis card. Felony child neglect charges carry potential life sentence in Oklahoma. Are you kidding me? Of course, it's ludicrous to say that a fetus should require a license. But it's in keeping with the absolute insanity unfolding around the country since Roe versus Wade, which I don't want to discuss because my opinions are probably going to differ from a lot of you guys. So we're going to skip that. But that's crazy. So Brittany was investigated for using prescribed medicine and found to be a good, loving parent. His argument, it didn't have a medical card. So it's a legal theory of fetal personhood. I don't even know. Yeah, let's see. Let's see here. We could raid their homes. Let's see. The Nixon campaign in 1968 had two enemies, the anti-war left and black people. You understand what I'm saying? said this Dan guy. We knew we could make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with cannabis and blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did. So it's all a big mess. But yeah, isn't that crazy? They argue that the fetus should have a medical card. And I just don't think the fetus is going to be able to do that. The fetus isn't driving yet. I'm not even sure if the fetus knows where the dispensaries are. So it's probably not great odds that, But anyway, high school students say cannabis is harder to access following legalization for adults. That's interesting, right? A newly published study of high school students found that the proportion of those who said cannabis was easy fell. Despite a growing body of literature examining cannabis use amongst adults, the 6-person team published this month, there appears to be a paucity, which I've never heard that word before, of research dedicated to examining changes. So the overall frequency of students who said that cannabis was easy fell from 51 to 37%. At the same time, students who have used cannabis were more likely to report access was easy. The prevalence of current cannabis use defined for the study as use within the past month fell during the study period from 12% to 75.5%. Let's see. The likelihood of underage youth reporting that cannabis is easy increases as they progress through high school. So, all the hysteria, it's usually with old people sitting in their ivory towers acting like they know what's up. And they don't, usually. Okay, cannabis moment. Florida officials arrest 2 people accused of falsifying signatures for cannabis legalization ballot initiatives. I don't even know. They've arrested 2 paid canvassers charged with allegedly falsifying signatures. Facing multiple felony counts. Whoa. So, the 3 canvassers are being prosecuted on fraud. One person who was involved in petitioning for an unrelated gambling-related initiative, don't know. The circulator submitted dozens of falsified cannabis and gambling initiative petitions without specifying how many signatures have been impacted. The Florida Constitution is a sacred document. Florida law lays out a detailed process by which issues can be submitted. To fraudulently misappropriate this process for personal gain is not only illegal, but it violates the trust of law-abiding citizens. So the election must remain free from those who would commit voter fraud. Let's see. If the allegations are substantiated, we hope the individuals involved are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. They turned in nearly 1 million signatures for ballot placement. So, whatever. That's crazy. So, whatever, kids. Don't falsify signatures. Now, cannabis moment. Carnival Cruise line denies that anti-cannabis enforcement measures are meant to boost alcohol sales on ships. Now, just let that marinate a bit. And this woman, she had CBD, and they did, reimburse her for the ticket. But she cannot go on cruise lines ever. She got permanently banned. And then they use really just horrible reasons like, the safety of everybody is so important that we zero tolerance. Get out of here, you woman of CBD. What? It just, when you read stories like this, you believe there's ulterior motives. Because it's the weird spin. And I see this spin. I seen this spin back in the day when apartment managers started taking away essentially your rights or adding fees, or all of a sudden your rent's due on this day. If it isn't, we're going to impunge, $50 and then $3 every hour and all this stuff. They always used really fun words. We want this to be a community that you want to be in. Give us extra money. We need a deposit for the trash, deposit for the water. We heard you whistling after 10. We're going to fine you. For your own good, though, because we want this to be, feel like you're home. It's the same crap that these guys come up with. It's basically to be bullies. And then, so now, all of a sudden, we hear this kind of phrase. If it's anti-cannabis, then it boosts alcohol sales on ships. Passenger cruise lines like Carnival have policy against cannabis, that substance is illegal in many ports it sails to, and that they're following federal law. But as more people return to the ships and as more of them come from states where the drug is legal, operators are reportedly taking more extreme measures, cracking down on people who attempt to use it, including those who simply pack CBD products, which are illegal. As the Wall Street Journal reported in a story, Carnival Cruise Lines not only sends pre-cruise messages reminding passengers not to bring cannabis, but now has drug-sniffing dogs. Companies say they are focused on legal compliance and providing a comfortable experience for non-users. See, that's just crap. You ain't going to know nothing. But the article notes that the cruise operators may have an ulterior motive. Well, then now we're talking. Besides limiting potential legal liability, cruise lines could benefit financially by prohibiting cannabis. Alcohol is a major revenue generator, and cruises also limit how much booze passengers bring on board. See? It's all a scam. I talked to a Florida-based personal injury attorney who said he's convinced the decision to take such a hard line on cannabis or even CBD is because they're trying to drive alcohol sales. Now, as a skeptic from way back, that makes perfect sense to me. You know, you make it think like we just want to make sure everybody has a good time. We just want to make sure everybody's experience is comfortable. So we've got a gulag for all you CBD users, and we're going to ban you forever, you heathen. Right? What? So Royal Caribbean told that it prohibits all cannabis on its ships, including for medical or therapeutic. Carnival, for its part, said it's not considering cannabis' effect on alcohol sales and setting the policy. Of course, that sounds like something someone would say when they're high. When a guest cannot enjoy their balcony because neighbors are smoking cannabis, this becomes a customer service issue. The article quotes a number of passengers who feel similarly that cannabis use shouldn't disturb another guest. But it also notes that some cruise lines prohibit hemp-derived CBD. Just like that lady in Texas, she received a lifetime ban after security found CBD gummies. She received a partial refund. See, so it's just crap. Nevertheless, enforcement appears to still be sporadic, as other passengers have managed to smoke cannabis without consequence. And most passengers found with cannabis are rarely charged with a crime, at least in the U.S. Some tourists have faced civil penalties, like in Bermuda. So, let's not forget Mark Fogel. He was reportedly transferred to a secret penal colony in Russia. Brittany got to go, but he had to stay. And I think it's a stinking shame. Free Mark Fogel. Gonna get an amen. Mississippi Cannabis Lab sounds alarm on THC pesticides. A Mississippi Cannabis Lab alleged that cannabis products sold in gas stations and convenience stores contain dangerous contaminants and far more Delta-9. Steep Hill, a representative, said that the lab operator tested products and found some contained 12 to 14% THC and a long list of pesticides. The products in question were advertised as hemp-derived, which are illegal under the BUP. Hemp is defined as containing no more than everybody knows that. So check this out. I can't read any of these, but the pesticides they detected were bifenazate. This is just going to be fun. Okay, I'm going to try to pronounce these. Bifenazate, chlorantraniliprole, diazonone, malathion, metallixyl, myclobutanil, permethrin, and spinosad, which would fail medical cannabis lab standards. Now, the lab tested smokable vapes and edibles. So, it's not clear what limits the bill could put on hemp. It could require them to be tested in the state of Mississippi. Yeah, this is a problem. Again, don't forget South Dakota. If you want to help, get involved. Maybe this year they can do it. You've been listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'm Wilson. We're going to talk about this from MJ Biz Daily. We're going to wrap this up. The last show of the year. Well, Year of the Dragon breathed fire into the cannabis market in 2024. So, we've got 8 predictions, and we'll see what's going to go down. According to the Chinese horoscope, 2024 is the Year of the Dragon, which represents power, nobleness, luck, and most importantly, success. Which, when we think about China in that regard, we don't need a Year of the Dragon from them. How about a year of the stop being so mean? Okay, here are 8 predictions. Ongoing expansion of regulated cannabis market means continued growth for both medical and adult use. This is a national phenomenon for red, blue, and purple states, whether they be in the north, south, east, or west. Rescheduling cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 will happen will finally occur, resulting in the elimination of the Section 280E tax requirement. The safest cannabis banking reform will not happen. That's not happening. Incumbent states will continue to experience price constraints, while newly legalized states will enjoy for a time robust pricing. Okay, number 5, there will be more segmentation in the market as the cannabis industry matures. Consumer segmentation will proliferate. More than 50% of consumers are now women, and nearly 60% of consumers are married with children, countering the hippies and hip-hop image many have of cannabis. To adjust, cannabis businesses should offer less potent products in addition to stronger products. The East will be a beast. East Coast markets and Midwest markets will continue to experience strong growth, albeit at a more modest pace. 7, we can expect growth of consumption lounges, whether Flowey, Eddie B, or Beveragey will dominate as anyone's guess, but the cannabis hospitality industry will no doubt experiment with a variety of formats. And lastly, financing will remain constrained. Yeah, they don't want to do the banking business. So let's see what we got here. These are cannabis legalization advancements in several countries were among the biggest international. Germany made strides. Malta became the first on the continent to legalize cannabis. Colombia, they shelved its proposal. Ukraine, as the year comes to a close, Ukraine signed off on a bill to legalize medical cannabis. Luxembourg became the second European country, passed the legalization law in June. Italy, nearly 2 years after a top Italian court blocked a referendum, organizers began circulating a petition. Switzerland dipped a toe into cannabis legalization this year. Netherlands began selling the nation's first legally cultivated cannabis. And there you have it. I think I wrapped up this year pretty good. So 2024 looks pretty good. 1 year before, Minnesota, they plan to have stores open in 2025. So we'll see what 2024 does. And again, you've been listening to Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. Every Thursday I get in here, 4:20, open a big fat bag of cannabis news. This Thursday was no different. Programming on 95.9 Radio Free Fargo KRFF LP has been underwritten by Drummer's Journey. Drummer's Journey offers percussion instruments, hardware, electronics, accessories, and more. They have full service for drummers, including repair, custom building, and lessons. Drummer's Journey is located at Highway 10 East Mall in Moorhead, Minnesota. Their hours are Monday through Thursday, 11 to 7. Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 5. Sundays, noon to 5. For more info, check drummersjourney.com. They have a profile on Facebook. Now, let me play you another little ditty, and I'm about out the door with this. So, we got another new song. This is from Talk, The Fly, 95.9. Okay, we're back. The Fly, Talk, 95.9, KRFF, RadioFreeFargo.org. I'm wrapping up Canna-Talk ND with Wilson. I'll be back next Thursday. Next year, I guess. Next year, I'll be back. We got Stinky Arts Music Mart on deck, in the building, in the house. So get ready for that. I'm going to be moseying out of here. I believe God created cannabis for us to use as we see fit, and I show him props every Sunday, 417 Main Avenue, Antioch Church. Come on through. See what it's all about. We do a recovery class, 10 a.m. Think about it. Make a change. It's 2024. Anyway, I believe this winter is wild. I don't know if we're even going to get a winter. I don't know any existence in my life where winter just got skipped here in North Dakota. But it's been pretty wild, I'm going to assure you. Anyway, like I said, Stinky Arts Music Mart is up next. I'm about out of here. Educate yourselves on the benefits of cannabis so you can educate others on said benefits. Have a happy and safe new year, my friends. And again, I'll see you next year. Until then, stay tuned for Stinky Art. It's Judgment Day. David Allen. Peace.